Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. Today's video, some of you may find interesting, others may find it a little bit boring. Chris is just doing a bit of maintenance in the background, greasing up the ramp because we have got something quite heavy coming in. The yearly maintenance on my recovery truck. A couple of little bits on it have been bugging me lately. The driver side lower ball joint is become quite knocky. I noticed it when I picked that Ford Focus up when I was going over some bumps. It was donking around, so I got one of those ordered up. That arrived, so we're going to be fitting that. So we're going to have to strip the lower arm off and press it out and press the new one in. We're then going to be moving on to doing a yearly service on it. So oil filter, air filter, and the handbrake keeps sticking on one side, just where I don't get to use it much. I think we're up to about 78,000 miles on that truck now. It really doesn't get a lot of use. I do short distances in it, like from my house to the yard every day during the week, and occasionally pop down to Copart in it or pick a car up. So it doesn't really get a lot of use. Let's stop waffling on, get it in and get it serviced. So I've just got the wheel off, got it up on the ramp. We've got to disconnect the shock from here, take out the pinch bolt on the lower arm and remove this bolt here and take the lower arm completely out of the truck. Once we get it out, we can go straight over to the press, behind Chris there, press out that ball joint and put the new one in. But while I'm here, I can check through all my brake pads, they actually look fine. I'll check the inside, and I will whip the wheel off, check the other side, and then we're going to check that handbrake cable on this side. And I believe it's where I'll pull the handbrake up and maybe leave it for a week or two, but there's no binding there, and that's because I haven't actually used the handbrake for a little while. But again, I'm just going to go through, grease everything up, oil it up and check everything over and make sure that it's all fine. I'm still trying to catch my breath now. That was bloody hard work. The shock wouldn't separate from here. This bolt is the actual main bolt that you have to take out. You take the nut off the end and have to slide this out. But to get this out, you've got to unbolt the bracket. After you've unbolted the bracket, you've got to unbolt the roll bar from here, which is right up here. It goes together like a bit of a Meccano set, but everything was quite rusty. I must admit, this truck has been so well looked after. It come from my friends at Smarts, and it's a one owner from new, and it was never used for any heavy work. This AMS body they had built, because they do quite a lot of PPF on the Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and they pick them up from the dealers, and that's why this has got that AMS low loading body on it, so that nothing scrapes. But this was so meticulously looked after. And although I don't, I do look after it, I don't look after it as well as I should, and I am going to start looking after it a bit better. Things like this back wheel, this is really irritating me now, but they've done this at the car wash. It's obviously had a little chip and it's got behind it, so I'm going to send that over to refurbish it. And Chris just had a good look round as well and said that this tyre is actually knackered, so we're going to take that off today and put the spare on it, and the spare is in good condition. So I'll whip that over, get that refurbished and have a brand new tyre pot on that, and again I'll check all the others while I'm there. So Chris is just going to try and remove this shock, because obviously we need to get this out. We've got the press there, we're going to do it with that, and this is the new one here that we're going to need to press in. So we'll crack on, get all this tidied up, and then I'll come back and actually record Chris pushing pushing this out of here and pushing the new one in. Guys, we've got 4 of these collars just to stop them all moving around. We have put masking tape around them. We've got a hole in the bottom of these here. Chris has got them collars. Let me just do a bit of a demo so that you know. Basically, they slide over, they're larger than this one, and they go right on the edge, so it pushes it out. It's now in the press. Sorry mate, let's put that there. It's now in the press, we've got it in position. I'm going to hold it. We've got the gauge up here of how much pressure there is pushing through it at the moment.
Ready?
And yeah, Chris is ready to pump. They are, pushed it already. How much pressure was that?
3 ton.
3 ton of pressure.
She's out.
And that fell straight out. So nice and simple. I've done lower arms before that haven't been quite that easy, but that worked out pretty well. We'll clean that up and we'll press this one in. And pulled the rubber right through. It's really important to get all of that rubber through the hole because you don't want to squash it in there and rip it. You're pretty much defeating the object. Chris, can you just hold that base for me? I just want to show how knackered that is, that ball joint. So that's obviously split or it's just worn out over the years, but we've got this large socket. Obviously it's very important not to press on the center here, so we've got this socket that fits perfect. We're going to pop that back in the press. This bit will go through. There's a bit of messing around, altering and changing the settings here on the height because it wouldn't go in the way we was doing it. So we are ready to go now. If you want to pump it, see it pressing in. Brilliant bit of kit, these presses.
About 2 ton on that.
About 2 tons so far.
And when it goes up,
It's very nearly much, yeah,
you're
very much home.
yeah, it's just over 6 ton there.
6 ton on there, and it does look like it has pressed all the way home. So we'll let that off. Remove that socket, and there we go. New ball joint, all fitted. Let's get this arm back on there now. We have cleaned up all of the bolts and all of the threads to make it a lot easier getting it back on than it was to get it off. And I actually bought this on the internet and it cost me £9. Now, a new lower arm is actually 90. So I've made a big saving there by changing that. And it was no more work to undo it and take it off. If you was replacing the whole thing or just this, you still had to unbolt and remove this arm. So that's a huge saving there. So it's all back together, just running it up to temperature. We've got to crack up the wheel bolts, put the cap back on, do that rear wheel still for the spare. We've got a headlight bulb out here, the main headlight bulb. I only noticed it last night when I was driving home, so we've got to change that. We're just running it up, get that oil really hot. We're going to get that drained down. 8.5 litres it takes. So I've had to buy 2 5-litre cans. We're going to do the filter and the air filter. So that's that done, guys. Thank God. You know, it's needed doing for quite a while now. Even though it hasn't done the mileage to warrant a service, it is coming up for about 18 months since I last done it. It really needed that oil change. The oil was black that come out, and the rear handbrake binding on was driving me absolutely crazy, and that knocking noise. But I think the handbrake binding on, a big part of that is where I left it sat for about 3 months and didn't touch it. So yeah, it is all done. We've done oil filter, air filter, unseized that back brake, backwards and forwards, took quite a long time. And I'm really happy with it now. So that is another job all done. I do hope you enjoyed the video on it. I didn't think it'd be that interesting, but a few of you do always mention, show us a maintenance video on the truck, Rob. So we've got quite a few good little videos planned for the future. We have been talking about getting the workshop floor all painted out. So we do plan on doing that in a bit of a video at a later date. But we've got a good video planned for tomorrow. So hopefully you enjoy that. That will be going out tomorrow night. And then this one will be going out the night after. Sorry, tonight. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comment section down below. As usual, check out the merch store. Link is in the description. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more of our videos. Like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you tomorrow in the next one.